There's a great news for us today. We are called to bear fruit. Our life is meaningful. Our life is meant to have a meaning, very much so that Jesus, God Himself, wants us to bear fruit in our life. And so we hear this great message and we think, okay, what can I do to bear fruit? And we see how we're used to do things here in our life. Okay, to bear much fruit, I need to be independent. As soon as I can, maybe starting in high school, I start working. So I start gaining money and get some sort of independence. Then I move to college, and so I move out home, and I become independent. And then after college, I find a job, and hopefully it's a job that sooner or later, better sooner actually, I'll be my own boss. So I have some entrepreneur skills, and I don't want anybody telling me what to do, where to go, and when. I want to be independent. But let me ask you, who of us here, at the very beginning of his life or her life, was independent? If it wasn't for our mothers, we wouldn't be here today. At the beginning of life, we are all very much dependent on the love and the care of our mothers. And Jesus is saying the same thing today in the gospel. Remain in me. Only if you remain in me, you can bear much fruit. There's a need of dependence. We don't like it. Because depending on somebody means that he or she can do whatever they want with you, if they're not very good to you. Depending means that you love so much that whatever the other person decides will affect you, will affect your life, their decision. So depending on somebody means being vulnerable. There's a hard expression that Jesus has in the gospel that hits on our head like a 2x4. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Nothing. So not like, well, Lord, this is what I want to do. Can you please bless it? Apart from me, you can do nothing. It's pretty clear. We need to be dependent on Him. So it means, in other words, trusting that His words are real, trusting that His words make sense, that if we depend on Him, we will bear much fruit. I'm called to be fruitful. I'm called to bear fruit and have my life that is meaningful. So I know what to do. I start collecting things. I start getting more money, more wealth, more cars, more houses. So because the more I have, the more I can count my fruitfulness, right? And Jesus as well, in the gospel says, live more simply. If you're a branch that brings fruits, your Father prunes. If you're a branch that doesn't bring fruit, your Father cuts out. So whether we realize it or not, whether we want it or not, life at times creates cuts in our own person. But the difference again is that in that cut, if I remain in Jesus, He will bring much more fruit. And again, we need to have trust. I remember when I came here and the first time I was walking on the street, I say, garage sale. I thought, interesting. People sell their garage here. They like their home, but at some point they get tired of their garage, so they sell just their garage. And they have some stranger that park in their garage next to their house. I don't know. No, Father, actually, my brother said, no, actually, at times you collect many things in your life and in your house that are not very useful. And so you decide, well, it's better I get rid of those. And so you have a garage sale. So maybe Jesus is asking us to do a garage sale of our life. What are the things that are not very useful? What are the relationships that I need to cut out because they don't bring fruit in my life? Only if I'm in the true vine, that is Jesus Christ, bears fruit. At times we face and struggle and are stubborn and we stay on those vines who don't bring any sort of fruit. But again, to do that, I need to trust. I know trust is hard. Trust is not easy. Trust is something that you will never grasp and say, I have it, I don't need to work on that anymore. And it brings me back to a little over than 10 years ago when I was in Sicily, and it was summer, and there was this big cliff on the sea, like 30 feet high, and among our friends we challenged each other who can dive off that cliff. And so sure enough we climbed up, and I climbed up pretty quickly, and then I leaned over. Wow, it's pretty high. So I became a very good gentleman and said, you can go first. Then someone else. Then people were coming up, and so I gave them their turn. It's pretty high. Till one point, there's a little boat with this Sicilian man, and a few tourists say, come on, jump, people want to see. And I turn around, I'm the only one stuck on that cliff. And I'm thinking, why did I accept this challenge? I don't know. And I take the courage, and I jumped. 1, 2, 3, splash. It's a long time when you're still in the air. It was very exciting, but it was very uncomfortable also to jump. Had much fun, I climbed back again. Look down, still get scared, and I do it. Not easily, but easier, more easily. And the more I do it, the more I did it, the easier it was. And trust is like that. You know, we're called to remember that it's okay. You can jump. It's fine. You'll be okay. Actually, it will be much fun. Will bear fruit, as I had fun in that challenge with my friends. Never gets easy. I know I can do it. Next time I will climb to any sort of cliff. I remember I did it. I don't think it will be easy though. He's calling us to trust. That to bear fruit, we don't need to be independent, but we need to depend on Him and depend on the right person in life. We need to trust that to bear fruit, don't need just to collect stuff and fill our life with things that don't make sense, but simply have things that are rooted in Him. That will help us to bear fruit. And because we are all branches attached to the same vine, we are responsible for each other. I mean, Ascension is a great community, but Ascension without you guys doesn't do much. The vine without the branches cannot bear fruit. So we need to help each other. I cannot just think about myself, I need to go to heaven, this is my job. How about your spouse? How about your children? How about your friends? How about the person who is sitting in front of you in the pew? We all need to be dependent to one another. And Jesus in the Eucharist reminds us that. Trust in me. This is communion. Communion with the head, Christ the head, remain in me. And communion with Christ the body, that are all of us. May the Lord help us to open our hearts and to truly trust in Him. Because we are truly called to bear fruit. The fruit the way He wants us to. And that's the only way that we'll be blessed with abundance of fruit.